I was just driving past and noticed these tamarind street trees. I thought it'd be a good idea to collect some of the fruit and propagate some tamarinds from seed. Tamarinds are a medium-sized, long-lived leguminous tree from Africa. Their fruit contain obviously the seeds, and surrounding the seeds there's an edible pulp. Now, tamarinds are usually described as either being sweet or sour, and this refers to the taste of that pulp, whether it's better for cooking or eating out of hand. I've got no idea what these trees are, and looking around, I started to collect some seed pods off the ground, and these seed pods were too far past it. There was no pulp, and all the seeds had been eaten by some kind of seed weevil or borer. So these ones were no good, and obviously I couldn't taste these. And so then I turned my eye to some of the riper looking fruit or younger looking fruit that were around on the ground and still in the tree. And it appears that these are all underripe, so the ones in the tree weren't quite ready, and the ones on the ground looked like maybe they'd been knocked off a bit prematurely. But I did collect a handful because the seeds inside them still look good, and so I'm going to attempt to propagate seeds from these fruit. So back at the ranch, I cracked open the seeds, and I've raised tamarinds before, or propagated tamarinds before, but when I did that, the fruit were very ripe, and so I basically took the seeds out with the ripe pulp. I enjoyed quite a bit of the pulp, and what I couldn't get off the seeds, I put in a bowl of water and let the seeds soak. And that ripe pulp really swelled up, and it was easy to then just rub it off the seeds. Because these ones aren't quite ripe, I'm not sure exactly how that's going to go, but I'm using the same method. So basically I crack open the seed pods and then place the seeds and the pulp that had formed around the seeds into a bowl that I put a bit of water on. Now, because these fruit aren't particularly ripe, the pulp wasn't very nice to eat at this stage, and it's also very hard, so it may not come off the seeds as easily with this water soaking method. As well as that, I don't know if these seeds will be viable. Some of them look very viable or look much better than others. They're nice and full, and I'm sure I'll get some germination happening, but I don't think I'll get all these seeds germinating. So we'll see how they go. I left the seeds to soak with their pulp overnight and then removed the pulp the next day. Now, the pulp did really stick to the seeds more so than when I had the ripe fruit. So when I had the ripe fruit, the pulp swelled right up and it was really easy just to squeeze the seeds out of the pulp. With these seeds, I did have to really work to rub that pulp off. Now, it's not a crazy amount of work, but it was extra work over when I did this with ripe fruit. Then I planted the seeds into some pots, just normal sowing depth that I use, roughly the depth of the seed deep, and I was just using normal free draining potting soil. That's what I always use for germination, unless it's a palm or something that I really need sand for. I placed them into the pots, gave them a water, and then set them aside to germinate. Now, I won't say I was the best with watering these. They were kind of out of sight, out of mind, which isn't ideal, at least for me. When germinating seeds, I really need to remember to water them. But I did get some germination. So seeds started germinating after about 3 weeks, and it looks like I've got roughly 50% germination from these seeds. So that's not bad. I'll get a tree per pot, which is good, and I'll pass these on to friends. Perhaps they can use them as street trees like the original donor trees. Just for comparison's sake, when I have done this in the past with fresh tamarind seeds, I've had pretty much 100% germination. So if you're using ripe fruit, expect that sort of success rate. Hope you enjoyed this brief look at how I propagate tamarind trees and how you can actually forage the seeds you want for your propagation from even just the roadside. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.